Okie doke. So, ignite your spark. The woman you're becoming isn't waiting at the finish line. She's being built right now. In every rep, every decision, every time you show up. All right? Every time we do something that we said we would do, when we follow through and get shit done, we prove, we put one check in the proof box that that is who we are and that is who we're becoming. So, overview, the moment. So, I'm not even going to go through the overview. Let's just get cracking. So, the moment. And I want this to be an interactive one tonight, ladies. I want you on the pulse when it comes to commenting, engaging, getting involved, sharing your opinions. Ooh, who's that? So, let's properly get going. So, the moment. When was the last time you felt genuinely taking the piss on me? When was the last time you felt genuinely, properly proud of yourself? Not for what you did for someone else, not for hitting a work target or a deadline, for you, your body, your energy, the person you see in the mirror with no one watching. When was the last time you felt genuinely, properly proud of yourself? That feeling that you just went looking for, that you tried to search and think of, that's your spark, okay? And it hasn't fucking gone, it's just been buried. And today we're digging that fucker out, all right? So hold tight, we're going to do this properly. Oh, shitter. The truth, like I said, you haven't lost it. What is still there? You haven't lost your drive, your discipline, or the woman capable of something extraordinary. You've simply just been running on empty for far too long. And this is what I spoke about with energy. When we're not putting back into ourselves, when we're not following through and doing things that are required to become the people we want to become, it all comes down to suffering with low energy. Low energy and low motivation feel exactly the same, but they're very different, aren't they? So somewhere along the line, you started putting yourself at the bottom of your own list. Okay? Not because you're weak, because you carry everything for everyone else first. Does that sound familiar to anyone here? And that's cost you your energy, like we said, your confidence and your relationship with your own body. All right? So these are massive, massive problems for us. To lead a truly happy and fulfilled life, how can we do that with zero energy, low confidence, and a poor relationship with our own body? Simple answer, we can't. Okay, so this is the effect of putting ourselves last. And, the majority of people that hire me as their coach and work with me are there for that simple fact that they've been bottom of their own list. Not bottom of the list, their own list. When we decide and choose to put everyone and everything above ourselves, we are choosing to opt for this. A life of low energy, low confidence, and a poor relationship with our body. Yeah, we can't allow that to happen, right? But that powerful, strong, and confident woman, she is right here, right now. She's been there the whole time. The only thing standing between you and her is a decision. Okay? You don't need to find yourself, you need to choose yourself every single day. Now, listen to that back. You do not need to find yourself because you're already here. You simply need to start choosing yourself every single day. And is that unreasonable for us to choose ourselves every day? Because we're not asking for all day every day, are we? Just select moments where we train, where we go and get our steps in, when we're joining things like this in the evening. This is you choosing yourself, and it's absolutely vital. The fire, what you're actually capable of. Okay? In over 20 years, I've worked with hundreds of driven, successful women who came in feeling like a stranger in their own body. Does anyone kind of resonate with that? When they committed and when they stopped making excuses and just went, the transformation was extraordinary. Like everyone that I've ever worked with that has had unbelievable life-changing results are the ones that did stop making excuses and went all in. because they found out exactly what they were capable of. Okay. Some of you have been here only for a month or two. You're still finding what you're capable of. We're still yet to kind of discover that, which is exciting. Some of you have been here for a year or two, and you've definitely tapped into what you're capable of. So the physical change, bodies transform in ways that are incredible to witness. This is what happens when you reach your capability. The way that you walk into a room, the way that you speak, the way that you make decisions, and everything else. You're gonna be better for your kids, your partners, your teams, your close friends, your circle. When a woman reclaims her body, she reclaims everything. And that is 100% true. And everyone's body confidence and reclaiming their body is going to look different to everyone else. All right? Let's get that absolutely crystal clear. But when you reclaim that, when you can do things that are genuinely impressive, when you can exercise, when you can lift weights, when you can, break into a jog without feeling like your lungs are going to explode, when you become physically capable, it changes everything. It does reclaim everything. Not just for the fact that you're going to be body confident and that has a knock-on effect to the rest of your life, but it's because of what it takes to get there. What it takes to truly transform your life. The hours of work, the investment of time, effort, money, having a coach, being in a program. Like, the more you put into it, the more you give it, the more you're going to get out from it. But this is how we reclaim our life. We start by taking action on our body, because that is the ultimate representation of you respecting yourself, right? Respecting yourself enough to give you yourself the time and what you need to be in a better place. Okay? So, ooh, that's dropping in, but it all is absolutely relative to this. Okay? Because the fitness industry has sold you that the idea that you must give everything every day perfectly, or you're failing, or it's going to shit. No days off, all for nothing, go hard or go home. All that absolute bullshit. And I threw that standard out the window a long, long time ago. Because if you've got 40% to give and you give it today and you give that 40%, that is your 100%. Okay? A 20-minute walk when you only had energy for the sofa, that's a win. You okay, mate? A decent meal instead of a perfect one, still a win. Showing up imperfectly instead of not at all, that's a win. That builds real unstoppable momentum, and consistency over intensity always wins. Okay? That's just a very brief, very simplified kind of bunch of examples of how we choose ourselves each day. Okay, that is the standard we look for in the Apex project. So the identity shift, and most of you know kind of my story and kind of how I had to kind of dig myself out of shit. 6 years ago, when I lost my mum, lost all my businesses, and truly hit rock bottom. Driving from hospital to hospital around Cheshire at 3 in the morning, while Amy was at home and Axel was only, you know, literally just been born. That was where I had to forge my own identity again. That is when I had to ignite my spark. And in those darkest moments when I literally had convinced myself that I had nothing left, I could not do this anymore. I couldn't take another step forward. I'm going, Axel, I'm working here, you muppet. So go and play on your computer before I put you in a headlock. Anyway, so yeah, in those darkest moments when I could not see any light and I felt beaten. I felt like I had nothing left to give. Okay. And I had to really sit with uncomfortable, long, drawn out thought processes on my own in a dark room, thinking, right, do I let this be my story or do I let this be my starting point? And at the time, how old was I? So I was 34. So I was already 34. I'd already owned businesses. I'd already been in the the military. I'd done a lot in my life. I expected to have everything fucking nailed by 34. And there was little brief periods of my life leading up to that I felt like I had. And then it all collapsed around me. Okay. But I chose the starting point. I had to. I started acting from a new identity. Before I felt it, before I believed it, even when I only had 40%, some days I had well less than 40% to give. I remember the first training session that I did, because I didn't train since my mum was like really ill before she passed. I wasn't training much then, and then after she passed, it was maybe 4 months. Didn't go into a gym. The longest time I'd not trained and exercised since I started training when I was 14. Eating shit, drinking too much alcohol, complete self-sabotage. And I had to start acting in that new identity. I had to reach out to help. I had to hire the coach, therapist. I went all in. It had to fucking work. And I remember at the time actually, because when I needed help and support, I couldn't fucking afford it. I had nothing. We had a new baby. Amy wasn't working yet. Um, I was the sole kind of provider of the household, hardly working at all. Didn't have my gym anymore. My identity was shot to shit. And, I couldn't give myself an option for failure. That could not be even considered. And I remember dropping, I think it was about £8,000, the coach that I hired. And I slapped on a credit card and thought, what's the word? It's either going to happen or not now. But anyway, the shift for you. We need to stop waiting to feel like the woman you want to become. Start acting like her right now. And that's something that I did. I really worked hard on creating an identity that I could grow into. I wanted to start acting like a successful business owner. I wanted to start acting like a good dad. I wanted to start, and I tried it almost immediately, even to how I used to dress in the day. I know it sounds a bit fucking mad, but I've lived most of my working life dressed in tracksuits and sports gear and stuff, and it didn't feel like my identity or what I wanted it to be. So start dressing a bit smart in the day, start looking after myself more. Obviously, I've got to start going back to the gym, start eating properly again, and the starting point began. And since that time, I would say I've had to reignite my spark and start again 3 or 4 times since then. Because it takes real strength, real character to say to yourself, yeah, I was doing well, but I've just let things slide. There's no excuse for it. I've just allowed it to happen. I've drifted back into old habits. All those things that I said I would do, I'm falling away from. I've lost my momentum. But being aware of that and having the strength to say, right, okay, so I know what I need to do. I need another starting point. I need another reset. I need to go again. And so I think some people feel embarrassed to do that, feel a bit silly. When you tell everyone, like, I'm doing this, I'm going to be training here, I'm going to be doing this, and then it doesn't happen, they feel foolish about saying, no, I'm going again. And everyone's like, oh, here we go again. So fucking what anyone thinks. I'm reinvented myself several times until I found out who I truly was meant to be. And I only found that because I didn't fucking stop. I was literally just like a dog with a bone. I was tenacious. I wasn't going to stop until I got what I worked for, but also what I felt I deserved. And you've got to ask yourself, all the stuff you've done in your life, all the hard work you've put into either your careers, being a parent, building a household, like whatever you are most proud of, it took fucking work, didn't it? Real work. So I already know that everyone in this program now is more than capable of becoming the best version of themselves. becoming fit, strong, healthy, confident, impressive fucking women. Does anyone here now truly not believe that that could be them? Truly believe that they have not got what it takes to become the most impressive version of themselves in this program right now? Anyone in the comments at all could honestly say, no, I haven't got what it takes. Just catching up on the messages. Pamela, it's not unreasonable, but it sometimes feels like I need someone to tell me it's okay to choose me and put me first. Yeah, I get that, Pam. Yeah, 100% get that. Yeah. I a lot of the coaches that I've worked with, and the one I'm working with now, they're constantly asking me like, more thing for me is like, what are you doing that's fun? What have you got in the diary that's fun? And it's something that he really pushes me to, he forces me. He shouldn't have to, but I do. I need someone to force me to say, right, take a day off there, get off your phone, go and spend the day doing that, or book a night away, or do this. It's important as well. It's taken me 18 months to actually believe in myself, and I am doing it. Yes, agreed. It's not a switch, unfortunately. I fell off the wagon a few times. I remember why and how I felt when I do things for me. Yeah, like I said, falling off the wagon and slipping down again. Nothing wrong with that. It's your attitude towards it. Okay? When you stop being someone trying to get fit and being a woman who takes care of herself, everything shifts. So I want you to be that person now, every one of you, to stop saying, I'm trying to get in shape, I'm trying to lose weight. No, you are someone who takes care of themselves. End of. What's up, mate? Every time once she goes through my nose. Does she? And every time I sit down, she does like this. Really, man. Touch my mic. Right, you two bunders, go away. Yeah, come on. Get out. Right. So yeah, stop saying you're somebody's trying to lose weight. I'm trying to do this. You are already, all of you are already women who take care of themselves. Training will stop becoming a chore. Nutrition stops being or feeling like a sacrifice. It just all becomes who you are. And this is the identity shift that we need to really keep in mind. Okay. So what's coming for you? Visualize it 6 months from now. If you stay in the game, if you show up and you give you 40% on the hard days, here is what that version of you looks like. Real vitality. And the word vitality doesn't get used much, does it? But I love it. For someone to look vitalized and have real vitality. That's what we're all striving for, isn't it? Waking up with true energy that you might not have felt in years. Not fucking caffeine boost, not willpower, actual physical vitality. How many people can say they wake up with vitality? 10% of people, if that. Isn't that you hug it too? No, vitality was a margarine on it, a spread. Unshakable confidence. This is huge, 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 huge. The difference this will make to your life. To be able to walk into a room just differently, shoulders back, head high, not performance confidence, but truly feeling it. Imagine that. And everything gets better. You'll be sharper at work, more present with your kids, better in every relationship. And you don't feel like you give up anything. Axel, if I have to tell you again, what do you reckon's going to happen? Go upstairs. Bumhead. In fact, come here quickly. What? Dead leg. Bye. He deserves that. Divvy. Right, so the most beautiful thing, if I just struck my kid on a live YouTube, Do you reckon they're going to strike? Nah, they'll be all right now. The most beautiful thing about choosing yourself is that everything else gets better too. Fact. When we start choosing ourselves, what's up? No. Honestly, I'm going to give you a skinhead. You do me head and I can't even speak. Right, go. Move. Go upstairs. Kids are absolute bibbies, aren't they? But yeah, when we choose ourselves, everything gets better. So the challenge, there you go. None of anything that we spoke about tonight means fuck all without one thing, a decision. Not a perfect plan, not the right moment, not when things calm down. Right now, today, think about why you started. That moment, the look in the mirror, maybe a photograph, the exhaustion, missing out on things because you didn't have the energy or the confidence to actually do them or even enjoy them. That was your spark trying to come back to life, basically. This is it coming back. So the two questions I always ask anyone in a bit of despair: can you do this? Cut the bullshit out. Fuck the excuses off. Can you do this? I already know the answer. Of course you fucking can. I've seen the evidence every time that you have shown up. Will you do this? That is the question. That one is yours. And hopefully you already know the answer to that. The most courageous thing you will ever do is believe that you deserve the life you want. Let that fucking sink in. The most courageous thing you'll ever do is believe, truly believe that you deserve the life that you actually want. Something that I added on the bottom there. You can borrow my belief until you build your own. I am in your corner every fucking step of the way. Now we need to get this fucking spark back. Similar to what Pam's just said, then sometimes when we don't believe in ourselves, it does require someone else to believe in us before we believe in ourselves. But that will only happen when you take true action. Okay? When you make shit happen, regardless. Had a tough day, 40% it. I'm just going to go for a 20-minute walk. Haven't got much time. Rather than fucking off, I'll just do 10 minutes. 10-minute quick little circuit. Do as many of the exercises in my plan as I can. Like we spoke about the weekend, what had happened if 10 years ago you made that choice now? What have you followed that protocol 10 years ago and always did something, never nothing? Where would you be today? Right? So now start making that decision. Become that person. You already are. You just need to start acting like that person. Okay? So that you do get the life that you deserve, the life that you want. Hey up, Ben. I've had this lately, and it's a weird feeling. Going to events, I never thought I'd have the confidence to go. Yeah, Emma's prime example. Prime example of what happens when you get your spark back. Yeah? Trust me, when if I was to say to you, or someone was to say to me, right, you be where you are today, 6 years ago, I didn't even think I'd make it through that year. And I'm not trying to be all fucking doom and gloom here, but I genuinely didn't. I thought I was out for the count. Couldn't fucking crack. I couldn't do it anymore. But deep down, I knew all I need to do is get my spark back again, get my fucking fire back in me. And you know what? The build up or the rebuild from being rock bottom to getting back on form to when I felt back on form was the most enjoyable journey. It was fucking hard, really hard at the time. Like some of them therapy sessions used to wipe me out like nothing I've ever done before. But I enjoyed each day waking up with purpose. waking up knowing that I had an opportunity to do and achieve whatever I set my mind to, whatever I was willing to work for and work towards, I could have. And it's exactly the same with you girls. If you want a physique, a level of fitness and strength that is fucking impressive, that when you look in the mirror or when people look at you, think, wow, that's impressive. When you see you perform stuff in the gym, when you attend the social event, you're all dolled up and people are like, wow. If you want that, you can absolutely fucking have it. Every single one of you. That's not even up for discussion, ladies. That is not up for discussion. I know that to be true. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, that's not my style. But it's true. Emma, don't get me wrong, I've been working on this for 3 years, but it's worth it. But Emma, right, is a great point actually. So Emma has been working on this for 3 years. But how long would you say you've been going all in when you made this a priority, a true priority? And how quick were the changes and the progress and the results? Right, ladies, comment down below. How did you find that tonight? Did that make sense? I'm gonna stop recording now.